I hope you're all prepared for the national lockdown, which is coming. It's a long shot that Donald Trump actually ends up winning the Electoral College or somehow retaining the presidency. But at this point, I seriously think we desperately need Trump to somehow pull this one off, because Joe Biden has gone completely insane. His advisors are nuts, and the media is absolutely insane. We've already been through lockdowns. We've already seen South Dakota and Sweden. The World Health Organization has said no to lockdowns, but here we are. The Atlantic. It's time to hunker down. A devastating surge is here. Unless Americans act aggressively, it will get much larger very quickly. I want you to look at this article, and I want you to look at the URL up top. Do you see what that says? Lock yourself down now. That's what the title was originally. It would appear, or maybe it wasn't. That's the URL. Lock yourself down. Do it. Lock yourself down. We shouldn't have to order it. You should be hiding. Terrifying. They're destroying the economy. The rich will get richer. The poor will get poorer. And then what? I don't know. But here it is. Biden's COVID expert warns healthcare systems will collapse and patients will die in waiting rooms if the trend continues, as new model suggests. 150,000 more people could die before his inauguration. It's scary. We don't want anybody to die. So, I'm down to wear a mask and whatever. I went to the store the other day, wore a mask, didn't have any issues. It's not a big deal. Some people just don't want to do it, I guess. Look, I've seen crazy people like in the middle, in the forest preserve, riding their bike in the bike path, and they're like wearing a mask. And I'm like, that's kind of weird, dude. No one's around you, right? It's fine. Whatever, though, they can do it if they want. I don't care what they do. But I got no problem wearing a mask if it means we can prevent stuff like this. But it seems like they want the economy destroyed. I'm not actually accusing them of trying to purposefully doing this. They're just either so crazed or hysterical or paranoid. They're going to cause mass death. We've already heard from the UN. In the third world, people are going to starve to death. Around the world, 250 million, and we can expect it to get worse. Why would they be pushing this hysteria over and over again? Why would the media be saying we have to lock down when it clearly didn't work the first time? You know what's really funny? Somebody tweeted, they said, if masks work, then why don't they work? Meaning, we've all been wearing masks for months, and now another spike is hitting New York? How does that make sense? Things are getting worse. New York is locking down. Why? Didn't your lockdown work? Didn't wearing masks work? If it didn't work, then why do the same thing again? Because they don't care. They don't want to take responsibility for whatever's about to happen. Now, there is some good news. Not that it really matters, but Fauci says we're not going to get a national lockdown. Okay, that's a bit reassuring, but I got to admit, it's not like I trust Dr. Fauci. I mean, let's be real. Fauci's been wrong about so much. The craziest thing is how the left has torn this guy to shreds. I mean, they attacked Trump for repeating what Fauci told him to say. But, you get it. Fauci would say things like, don't wear masks. He did. He really said it. And then Trump said, you don't have to wear masks. And then they were like, Trump's crazy. Then Fauci said, Trump did a great job. And Trump said, I'm doing a great job. And they said, Trump, how dare you say that? You're not doing a good job. They simultaneously say Fauci is the expert, but then act like Fauci is crazy. You know what it is? It's Trump derangement syndrome. Fauci said, don't wear masks. And then everyone said, don't wear masks. And then Trump was like, you don't got to wear masks. No, you do have to wear masks. And now they've flip-flopped. Because whatever Trump says, they do the opposite. But I digress. This is the narrative coming down now. Fauci says you won't get a lockdown nationwide. But the media tells you to do it anyway. The Atlantic. The end may be near for the pestilence that has haunted the world this year. Good news is arriving. And they go on to mention Pfizer and the vaccine. Our testing capacity has expanded, blah, blah, blah. The CDC has finally acknowledged that aerosol transmission happens and that ventilation is important. The initial bungled messaging and science around masks was unfortunate, but things have turned around. The CDC has even publicized how masks can help protect the wearer from infection, as well as lower the chances of onward transmission. The importance of clusters and super spreading is more widely appreciated, maybe partly because the highly publicized White House cluster. We have reasons to celebrate. But, and you knew there was a but, a devastating surge is now underway. And worse, we are entering this dreadful period without the kind of leadership or preparation we need. and with baseline numbers that will make it difficult to avoid a dramatic rise in hospitalizations, deaths, and potential long-term effects on survivors. Almost every day, America is breaking new records in confirmed cases. My friends, you must give up your rights. Quick, where's the Constitution? Burn it, because a pandemic is here. We all remember the famous quote from Patrick Henry. I think it was Patrick Henry. Give me liberty or give me death, unless, of course, there's a pandemic. And we all agreed, then we don't need liberty. That's right. Or maybe a national security threat. That's a good point. Maybe we've got terrorists. Give up your freedom. I love it. We've come a long way, haven't we? From give me liberty to give or give me death. How about New Hampshire's motto? Live free or die. How are they doing? I've been saying this for a while, but there was always going to be a reason. You know, the despots, the authoritarians want you to just lay down your rights and give up. Listen, I think for the most part, America will be fine. But I think there's going to be untold suffering around the planet. And it's a really difficult position to be in to know. I think for most people, it's true, ignorance is bliss. You might say it's going to be bad for the economy. You have a lot of people in New York and California and these blue areas, a lot of these Democrats and media people that are like, for the good, everyone must just bunker down and give up. And that is probably going to end up with poor people suffering the most, which they probably don't care because these people are probably well off to a certain degree. But it's the poor people around the world that will suffer the most because the United States, our economy, we actually help people all over the world. And we provide goods and resources and aid and things like that. And maybe these Democrats in positions of leadership are also really dumb or they just don't care. I'm sure there are a lot of America First types that are like, we shouldn't be doing this in the first place. You know, we shouldn't be giving away our resources in a time of need. I can certainly understand that. In the end, I think the United States itself will still face very serious problems, and the working class and the poor will be the most impacted by this. Small businesses are being destroyed. We've talked about it quite a bit, but it bears repeating. Big box stores making tons of money. Amazon profits through the roof. I'll tell you this. We know the lockdown is coming, so it stands to reason. Buy up Amazon stock, right? I'm not going to go buy Amazon stock, but it does seem like it's going to skyrocket. The left was angry that Jeff Bezos was making all of this money, but it wasn't so much that he was making all this money, personally, but that Amazon was succeeding because people couldn't go to the store. And it's easier just to order it online. Seemed kind of pointless, right? People can still work in warehouses. The people can still come to your house and deliver it, but you can't go to the store to buy it. Sure, I guess stores have big crowds and they're trying to mitigate this. But ultimately, everything that we've seen over the past year just really feels like they want to destroy the economy. That's all I can really say. I'm not accusing them of wanting to do it. I think they're just dumb. That's it. There doesn't need to be some grand conspiracy or anything. It's just stupid people doing stupid things. Democrats who don't want to take responsibility for any potential death lock down their economies, and it destroys everything. And it creates a downward spiral. Now New York's going to potentially enter this period and I don't know how to describe it, but what happens is the more people who leave New York, the less tax revenue they have, the more things fall apart, the more businesses collapse, and then New York will fall into a state of total collapse, forcing people to flee, making it very difficult for New York to ever recover. There is a baseline amount of work that has to be done to maintain a city like New York, and maybe they don't care. Maybe that's the intention, or ultimately, they're just dumb. I'm really not big into conspiracy theories. I don't think there's mass coordination, like nefarious Illuminati plots. But I do think Democrats get together and do Democrat stuff. I do think they talk about, their plans. I do think Cuomo probably talks to Murphy and Governor Wolf about the tri-state area in Connecticut, about what they're going to do, and then they act in concert. You can call it a conspiracy, sure, I guess, but that's kind of normal. They say, what are you doing? They say, we're locking down. And regular people just go along with it. So the word has come down. New Mexico is locking down. New Mexico orders 2-week lockdown. We're going to start seeing more and more states do this. The warning signs are here. Joe Biden's advisor is screaming the end is nigh and the sky is falling. Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know what's happening in Europe, but apparently these lockdowns didn't work. They're just calling for more and more and more. I don't think there's going to be a new normal. Or I should say, this is the new normal. I don't think there's going to be a return to normal, the way things used to be. We have a little bit of a comeback and then gone. I can't imagine what it must be like to be in New York or Chicago or, Los Angeles probably isn't as bad, but Los Angeles is probably way worse. New York is probably the worst, actually. Tiny little cubicle apartments stacked on top of each other. You can't go outside. You can't go to the store. You're sitting there ordering. You have no money. You're going to get evicted. The end. Maybe the end really is nigh, but not in the way they say. Poor people won't have money, will get evicted. They're going to go nuts. The riots we saw earlier this year weren't just about George Floyd. It was pent-up rage from being trapped inside a box. You could finally go outside, and you were so angry. And these people went and smashed everything. And they made an excuse for it. So I'll tell you this. I think the lockdowns are coming. That should be obvious. National, probably. I don't trust Fauci. I got no problem wearing a mask. I think we should try and do something, to stop the virus. But at what point do we just say enough already? Enough. Several states are defying, saying we're not going to lock down. But you know what's coming? Probably more riots. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 10 a.m. tomorrow on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all then.